We begin with new information tonight from a murder earlier today in Fargo. Good evening, everyone. Thanks for joining us. It's been an unnerving and scary several hours for a part of Fargo.
At this hour, investigators are looking for this man, 35-year-old Ashley Hunter. He's wanted in connection with a murder. Earlier, police discovered a dead man in a North Fargo apartment, and they suspected foul play. Let's go now to Valley News Team's Ashley Bishop, who's been covering this story since it broke earlier today. Ashley?
Yes, the police scene here is still very active. Police still coming and going and trying to clear the scene. Here at the apartments earlier today, just behind me, police discovered a man's body where they're not saying how he was murdered, just that it was violent and in nature. They aren't saying also who the victim was or his age. They have not, not long after finding the man's body here, they discovered, they were searching for a pickup and also looking for Ashley Hunter. Shortly after they discovered the pickup, that search led them not too far off from here to the apartments near University and First Avenue North, actually. A SWAT team surrounded the building, and the black pickup was towed away that they were looking for. Police suspected that Hunter was inside. A woman came out and was taken away shortly after. A robot was used to find out what was going on inside for about an hour, but then shortly after, a team of SWAT people went inside. In the end, nothing was found. Hunter was not there in the apartments. One woman I talked with said she saw Hunter and the pickup truck that was stolen just days before.
Yeah, I picked my aunt up Saturday to go shopping, and the truck was parked back there when I picked her up. And they just looked at me weird, and I just ignored them because I didn't even put two and two together that I know who the truck is stolen from.
Did you see the gentleman that they were looking for?
Yep, he was sitting in the driver's seat, and the girl was standing outside on the passenger side talking to him.
Now, police continue to look for Hunter. They ask it and say, if you see him, just to give them a call. Police have told me that they exhausted all their leads and are currently working to find new ones. In North Fargo, Ashley Bishop for Valley News Live.
All right, Ashley, thank you. And tonight is not the first time that we've mentioned Ashley Hunter. He was also involved in a story that went viral after being accused of stabbing another man during a threesome in 2013. He spoke with Valley News Live, trying to clear his name and saying this act was not showing who he truly was.
Everybody looks people up. You know, you'd be a fool if you didn't look somebody up. So I put my name on an application for a basement apartment, and it's like, hey, we're afraid to live by you. You're gonna stab somebody, or I'm just like, that's not even who I am, you know.
Now, Hunter ended up entering into an Alford plea in a plea bargain with prosecutors, so the aggravated assault charge was dropped to simple assault. Hunter was sentenced to 34 days, already served in jail, and then 2 years probation. Well, the judge in the Aaron Knodel case has dismissed the final 2 charges against him. Knodel, a suspended West Fargo teacher, was accused of having a sexual relationship with a student back in 2009. Knodel had already been acquitted on 3 of the 5 charges in April. And last week, the state filed a motion to dismiss the charges against him. The state of North Dakota asked the judge to dismiss the case with prejudice. That means the state could recharge Knodel if new evidence is discovered within the next year. But the judge is dismissing the case without prejudice, and the Knodel case is now listed as case closed.
In Holly, Minnesota, residents are speaking out against the way City Hall is picking a new police chief. Valley News Team's Krista Boehm talked with citizens who are speaking out for changes.
Citizens of Holly packed their city hall, a group proud of where they live.
I love this town. We have great people.
But they crowded their council members with growing concerns of not being heard.
These people, they want answers. You answer to the citizens of Holly. This is the city of Holly. We all live here.
It seems to me you're not listening to the people.
The most recent issue seemed to come as the last straw for residents, choosing a new police chief. The decision is down to 3 candidates, 2 out of state and 1 local. But citizens say they want their perfect hometown candidate.
It makes more sense than doing a search for somebody from, was it Minneapolis, Georgia, wherever.
I don't understand why nobody's talking. Why is nobody bringing it to somebody's attention? Why isn't anybody making a big deal about it? Why can't we have a city where people can move up and want to stay.
Mayor Gary Johnson says this is the way the process is done.
For the interviewing process that we and every other city in this state uses, we interview them, and then they rank how they fall, and then the committee makes a decision.
Despite handing over a petition with more than 500 signatures, the council made no mention of any changes coming to a city full of support for where they call home.
What's really important is what the people want.
In Hawley, Krista Baim, Valley News Live.
Citizens tonight also raised concerns about their city clerk questioning the way she handles her job, and her pay is far too high for what she does. The mayor says it's issues he's addressed before, but adds there is more that needs to be done.
Fargo City Commissioner Dave Pepcorn is criticizing the amount of money that some Oxbow homeowners are getting paid for flood buyouts of their homes, residents having to move to make way for a new ring levy. But at tonight's City Commission meeting, officials with the Water Board came to explain how this federal program works and what they have to abide by. They say the difference in Oxbow versus Fargo, there's no home within 3 to 4 miles for these residents to move to, so they have to rebuild. The flood buyout price is driven by a federal rule that requires a replacement home of similar size and location. But Mayor Tim Mahoney said that most Oxbow residents only got about a third more than their home was worth. Mahoney says assessors find the big increase is because it could significantly cost more to build a home now than it was 10 years ago with the inflating and soaring construction costs. The money for buyouts comes from the state of North Dakota, Cass County, and also the city of Fargo. South Carolina Governor Nikki Haley is calling for the Confederate battle flag to be removed from the State House grounds in Columbia. Haley was joined by Republican and Democrat legislative leaders, the state's 2 Republican senators, and the chairman of the National Republican Party. The governor reversed her position on the flag after a young man who embraced white supremacy was charged with the murder of 9 black church members in Charleston. Haley said if South Carolina legislators don't vote to take the flag down during an upcoming special budget session, she will call them back for a special session. And also today, Walmart, this country's largest retailer, also announced it's removing all Confederate flag merchandise from its stores.
2 vintage warbirds are visiting the city of Fargo. The planes, a B-17 and a B-25, arrived this afternoon. They are former bombers that fly from city to city, giving you the chance to see part of the weaponry that helped win World War II. Their arrival today turned into a day to remember for a Moorhead man. Big day for Roy Nolte. This B-25 bomber is very similar to the ones he flew in World War II. When this 92-year-old found out that the airplane was coming to town, Roy jumped at the chance to fly again. The last time, 70 years ago, during the war.
Living at home wasn't that easy either at that time.
Roy was in his early 20s and a squadron commander. Like so many of his generation, the greatest generation, Roy signed up shortly after Pearl Harbor was bombed to defend the country and fight for freedom. But he and others also joined the military because times were tough. The country was still rebounding from the Depression.
To get $75 a month plus your room and board and medical and everything was pretty good pay back in those days.
Roy wasn't alone. His 2 brothers, numerous cousins, and many others from Martin County, Minnesota enlisted. Not all would come home alive. The ultimate sacrifice. One that Roy is unsure today's generation would be willing to make.
I wonder, maybe if there was absolutely a need, a really emergency, that there would be a change in attitude. But I mean, the young folks today are so much different than that bunch of guys there. Then it's just a matter of life and death.
Roy Nolte's part in the war would be that of a trainer. His class was among the first to fly B-25s.
Fire detection, generator switching.
Even after 7 decades, you can see Roy Nolte paying close attention to these pilots, watching as they ran through the same pre-flight checklist that Roy did back in the war.
We tour around the country and tried to educate the younger people about what the sacrifices and heroism like this gentleman did for our freedoms that we enjoy today. So yeah, it's an honor to be able to do that.
As you might expect, Roy Nolte enjoyed his return to the sky in that B-25. Afterwards, he shared a little pilot talk with the crew, which was great as well. Having had the chance to follow Roy today, it's been a win-win situation for all involved. And if you want to take it in, either a ground tour of the planes or even a flight, you're advised to contact the Fargo Air Museum. The B-25 and B-17s will be here through Sunday.